Hello, Olu again, nuggets of wisdom coming at you again. My series continues my series, No L but Lessons. No L's but Lessons. My subject today, a man should make a decision based on principles and not just emotions. Let's talk about it. Welcome back. Why did like, share, hit the notification bell for new content. Brothers, as I was thinking about this topic, I looked at our evolution as men. And I thought to myself, it's already hard, man, being a man in 2022. Especially if you want to kind of be the kind of man that wants to take care of business. You're the man who is the father, who's the provider, who strives his best to be the protector, and you also want to be a man of purpose, right? A man that is driven by the essence of God within him. This is hard, y'all. And also, on top of that, if you're a single brother, you got to be that interesting person, right? You're going to be the person who's going to be funny. You have to be able to hold a conversation, and you have to be able to be at least to be able to carry things along in most cases. And you may say, "Oh, so why you? So what's the big deal of you saying that?" As the old mother of the church I used to go to before, she said, "I'm just explaining, I'm not complaining." What do I mean by that? A man's decision should be based on principle and not emotions. Feelings come and go. Principle has a set of rules that you need to follow. Principle is principle is how most of our countries are being run. So let's put some language to it. He said, principle is a general scientific theorem or law that has numerous special applications across a wide field. That's principle. The law of sowing and reaping. The law of reciprocity. That's the principle. That's how most of the things that we have are governed. They're governed by principles and they're governed by laws. There are consequences when you violate laws and principles. Let's go to emotion. Emotions are thus more than just a feeling. They're a complex of blend of actions, expressions, and internal changes to the body that occur in response to the meaning we make of our environment. You've heard people who feel some way when the sun is out, who feel a certain way when the weather changes. Their emotion changes of the change of the weather. The weather changes, their emotion changes. I want to ask you a question, my brothers and sisters. Would you imagine if our world was based on emotions? I'll give you a good. I don't feel like paying my light bill today. I don't feel like paying my rent today or my mortgage. And if you have a car note, I won't be able to pay my car note based on how I feel. That means every business will be every establishment will be out of business completely, because we're solely basing our decision on emotions. Personally, I have based some of my decisions in life on emotions. But you know what I do? I give it a principle twist on it. I give it a principle twist and say, oh yeah, it's principle. I don't want to buy the jacket or the shoe, but it's 60% off. That's the logic. The emotion is saying it's 50%. So we can mix emotions and principle together and believe we're making a decision, but we're not. And in 2022, if we want to level up, if we want to enter into areas where we can call ourselves, men of standards, men that move in different arenas. It's not about the money. It's not about. It's about who you become through the process. We brothers have to make a decision by principle and not emotions. I have been that person. Or if I just, we're not looking. Emotion is looking at finding. Emotions and excuses are kind of cousins. Oh, they're not doing this particular thing because they had a bad, and rightfully so, they had probably a bad childhood. Oh, the background wasn't great. But that was 20, 30, 40 years ago. And you're still doing that. That's based on emotion. Principle says, I can't go by what you're just telling me. I have to go by what you're showing me. You hear this, if people show you who they are the first time, believe them. You have to believe it. That's principle. Emotion will say, oh, let me give you 28 more times. We can't do that. Especially if you want to enter into the kind of realm that we want to enter today. If you're a legacy builder, brothers, if you're trying to build empires that after you leave, your family will still be talking about you. You want to be a mover and shaker, bro. You're gonna make some large decisions by principle, man. It can't be emotional. It just can't be. I used to have an argument with my situationship when they kind of complain. I said, okay, I don't care what you say. My emotions does not pay the bills. I can't go down and tell my bank and say, I can't do this. I can't continue. I may have a break, but I can't continue doing that because they're going to be out of business. So let's get away from that a little bit. How many of us have made life decisions based on emotion? How many? I was reading an article here. 95% of purchases are based on emotion. 95% of purchases. I want to buy a car. I want to buy this. Is based on emotion. So that means 5% is only based on principle. And I can attest to that a little bit. In my other world, I used to do little car sales. And in the car sales, they told us that we should focus. So let's say, for example, a husband and wife comes onto the lot. They want to buy a car. Focus on the woman. We want to get them emotionally involved in the process of buying the vehicle. Because once we know they're emotionally involved, right, the purchase of the vehicle will follow. That's just a car. But how many life decisions are we making based on emotions? It's dangerous, y'all. Brothers, from my standpoint, I've made a lot of emotional decisions in my life. Some of them, I am still paying for those emotions today. There's not enough time on this video to tell you how much emotional bad decisions I've made, not based on principle. They're just based on, just because it's this way, it has to be. There's no logical thinking of how I get to a decision. It's just emotional because it feels good in the moment. So, brothers and sisters, how do we know we're making a decision based on principle or making a decision based on emotion? First of all, I'm going to give, I think I have about 3 points here that I'm going to give you. I want you to ask this question, step back. Is this based on how I just feel, or is it just emotional? Is it based on principle or based on how I feel? You know, that the people want what they want when they want it. I want a piece of cake. It's emotional because it's looking at me. Is it principle for me to eat it? Probably not. But I have to at least make that decision. At least if I know that I'm about to make this decision, it's based on other emotional principle, I either limit my emotional decision and I make my principle decision actually elevate past the emotional decision. Know what kind of decision you're going to make. In other words, slow your roll down. Whenever you're going to make a life-altering decision, take a step back. What am I about to commit myself to? Am I looking in from the eye of principle, or I'm looking from the eye of emotions? That's my first step. Second step is that what would be, I've heard myself, what's going to be my consequence of my actions? If I continue this, what's my consequences? If I buy the car, are there any what ifs that may happen? Do I know what may occur may happen? Have you asked yourself serious, deep questions? Number 3, does my decision show me that I'm growing as a person on being stagnated? We can all make mistakes because we're all learning and we're living in this body. But what's going to happen is, at some point, you can't see what you can't unsee what you're already seeing. If you are being open to wisdom, understanding, know how money works, know how these things work, know what kind of problem you've been through before, you have to see if this decision I'm making, is it based on growth, or I want to go back to what I used to do before? Stagnation. You need to ask these questions. My last point, let's have a scientific approach to our decision making. What do I mean by that? Get a therapist, get a third party who has no skin or no dog in the fight, who can look at a situation and draw a conclusion, at least give you an insight to where you're going. You don't go buy a house. Nobody gives you a mortgage based on your emotion. They're going to check your credit history. They're going to check how long you've been working to a place. They're going to check what has been in your bank account for the last 12 to 24 months. If the world of business do not give things out willy-nilly, why are we basing our decisions on emotions and not principle? Bro, I can go on and on concerning this. This is just a thought-provoking that I wanted to go by. You know me on this channel, I'm addicted to the how. Brothers, make a decision based on principle and not emotion. God bless this Olu. I'm out.